Coming up on the Suze Orman Show. Do you have debt? Do you have different kinds of debt? Do you not know which one to pay off first? Well, my debt loyalty list is coming up right now. Also,
I'm just trying to help him out and trying to figure out what's best.
No, to help him, you help yourself. And you ask me, can I afford it?
I'm interested in getting rhinoplasty, and I've wanted to do this pretty much since I was a teenager.
That's your little schnoz, huh?
It is a schnoz, yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Suze Orman, and you are watching the Suze Orman Show. Tonight, let's talk about loyalty. In fact, let's talk about my own, for you, personal debt loyalty list. What am I talking about here? Many of you have a lot of debt, and you have debt in certain areas, and you come up to me and you'll say to me, Suze, should I pay this debt before that debt before this debt? Which debt should I pay if I only have a little bit of money to go around? Well, here is the loyalty list as to how I think you should be paying debt when money is kind of scarce. Take a listen. Most of you have 6 kinds of debt. And if I were to put them in order of the most important to the least important, they would go like this: IRS debt, student loan debt, personal debt, mortgage debt, car loan debt, and credit card debt. Now, let me tell you why I put the loyalty list in that order. If you happen to owe money to the IRS, bad, 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 bad. And the reason that it's bad, 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 bad is because the IRS has the legal authority to seize your bank accounts, take money out of your accounts. They can do anything they want. So why would you want to owe money to an entity that has legal authority to almost do anything they so desire? So if you owe money to the IRS, you have to be loyal to them. You have got to pay what you owe, or you're going to be very sorry that you did not. Next is student loan debt. Student loan debt is debt that can never be discharged in bankruptcy. Sure, they'll let you get by, they'll let you defer it, they'll let you forbear it, they'll let you do all this stuff. They won't contact you, but it will build and build and build. And since you can't, in most cases, discharge it in bankruptcy, they also have the legal authority to garnish your wages and do whatever they need to do in order to get the money that you owe them, so you have to be loyal to your student loan debt. Personal debt. Now, why would I think personal loan debt is actually more important than mortgage, car, and credit card debt? Well, I'll tell you. When somebody has personally lent you money, a friend, a family member, they lent you that money because they trusted in you that you would pay them back. And if, whatever reason, you're not paying them back, but you're paying any other debt that you have, and now you see them at a party, don't you feel horrible about it? They come over to your home or you go over to theirs. It's the first thing that you're thinking, they're thinking. It gets in between your relationship if you haven't been paying them back. Also, you might be putting them in a situation where they can't pay their mortgage or their car loan or their credit card debt. Why would you want to do that to somebody who helped you? So you have got to be responsible to those who stepped up to the plate. And they helped you simply because you asked them to. Mortgage debt. You don't want somebody to take your home away from you. Home is the greatest asset that you have. So if you happen to have mortgage debt, you better be loyal to that, or you've already seen in the past here what could happen. Foreclose, there goes your home. Now where are you going to live? Car loan debt. If you don't pay your car loan, they can repossess it. So you have to be responsible to that as well. Last debt, credit card debt. Now, many of you think credit card debt should probably be the first thing so you can continue to use your credit card. Oh, give me a break. Credit card debt is unsecured debt. There is nothing there that they can come and take from you. They can't take your car. They can't take your home. They can't give you a dirty look at a party. They really can't do very much to you. So therefore, that is the order. If you only have a little amount of money, that is the order that you should be loyal to as to how you pay your debts. Our first guest tonight comes to us live from New Orleans. Her name is Carrie. And Carrie, is this correct? I hear you want to take on new mortgage debt. Girlfriend, tell me about it.
I do, Susie. This is an idea that my husband and we've been kind of throwing it around for a couple of months. We're considering co-signing a mortgage for our son, and he goes to school in Houston where he also works part-time, and we've been paying his rent for 2 years and just thought with the mortgage rates so low, it would be better for us to help him invest in a home rather than throwing our money away on rent.
Carrie, all right, your son is going to school.
Yes.
Is he going to spend the rest of his life in Houston?
He loves it in Houston. You know, we evacuated there for Hurricane Katrina and lived there for 2 years. I came back home, and he stayed and started college over there, and he has a great job with a major oil company, and he loves it, and he plans to stay.
And if he has a great job with a major oil company and he plans to stay, why is it that he needs you to co-sign a loan for him, making you responsible in case anything happens to him? Your son gets injured, your son gets sick, anything happens to your son, you now are responsible for this 30-year mortgage on this home. Why do you want to put yourself in that particular situation?
Well, for the past 3 years, we've paid rent for my son and my daughter. So we've already paid in rent over $25,000 of money that has just basically been thrown away. My husband and I...
Stop for a second. Stop for 1 second. 3 years ago, you came up with this idea. 3 years ago, wait, just stick with me for a second here. 3 years ago, you decided rather than to throw out money on rent, this $25,000 that you've thrown out, you put money down 3 years ago on a place in Houston. 3 years ago, you put money down, you've been paying it. Do you really think now, today, given what's happened in the last 3 years in the real estate market, that you really would be ahead of the game or behind the game right here and right now? What would have happened?
If it was 3 years ago,
yes,
we'd be behind in the game.
All right, now stop, which means you did not throw out $25,000 in rent. You actually saved money. I want you to look at it in true perspective.
Okay.
Because you're making a decision that you wasted $25,000, and that is why you should buy a piece of property today for your son. However, the reality of the situation is you did not throw out $25,000. In fact, you probably saved a considerable sum of money, because you would have put money down, you would have bought it at a higher interest rate.
True.
You would have purchased it at a time when real estate was a lot more expensive than it is now. You'd probably be underwater in your property today, locked in and not been able to refinance it, stuck in this piece of property and not known what to do. So really, thank God you've only been renting for the past 3 years. Got that?
True, yes.
All right, true. So with that in mind, now I want you, before we look at your children's situation, and Mama and Daddy coming to the rescue for these children, I want to look at your own particular situation.
Okay.
Okay. I'm looking at your finances. You still have $47,000 of student loan debt.
Yes.
You don't have really, at the age of 42, hardly any money in savings and retirement whatsoever. We need to look at Mama before we look at children.
Okay.
And your plan is to help your child be okay, and your child has a good job. You told me all this. Everything's going to be good for him.
We hope.
You hope. But you didn't talk about yourself to me. And when I look at your personal financial situation, we kind of have a financial Katrina brewing here in your own finances if, God forbid, you get sick or something happens to you. If your child, something happens to him and he can't pay that mortgage, I know you want to do something that you think is smart for your son. I want to make sure that every move that you make it for yourself before you make a move for your son.
Oh, absolutely. And right now what we're doing is, this is just ideas. Some of our friends tell us you're crazy. Some of us tell us, oh, it might be a smart move because interest rates are so low. And at this point in time, we are just shopping around for interest rates, trying to get the best bang for the buck.
All right. And Here's what Suze Orman would tell you. While interest rates are low, looks like a wonderful idea that probably the real estate market will have bottomed out right around here. It doesn't mean that the real estate market's going to turn around and go straight back up.
Right.
All right, at all by any means. There is a big difference between taking on mortgage debt and rent. Currently, you're giving your son $500 a month towards his rent. Correct?
Yes.
You are thinking that you will continue to give him $500 a month towards his mortgage.
Correct.
On a $115,000 property, which is approximately what you're looking for your son, with 5% down, is a bank even willing to give you a mortgage with 5% down?
Well, it depends on if you get an FHA or a conventional
loan. All right.
Right.
So let's say you get an FHA loan, you're able to do it 3.5% or more, and you're able to get this. Your monthly payments, plus your property taxes, plus your insurance, plus maintenance on this home, plus everything else is going to be far more than $500 a month.
Right, but he's going to get a roommate.
He's going to get a roommate, but what happens if he gets a roommate and then the roommate doesn't have any money and then he has to pay for the roommate? I'm just asking you to look at the what ifs of life.
That's right.
All right, so do I think, given the fact that you still have student loan debt, right? You don't have enough in your own retirement at this point in time. You do not have enough in savings for an 8-month emergency fund. You are seriously behind on an 8-month emergency fund for yourself. As I total up all of your things, if you spend any money to closing costs and everything, it's going to cost you a good $10,000 to get this home.
Yes.
That will bring you down to approximately $16,000 in cash, correct?
Right.
Right? That's all you got.
But that's of my money. My son also has money in savings.
Yes, but that's his money.
Right.
Your money, if he's got money in savings, is he going to put down the down payment?
He may. He does have money in savings, and he does have money in retirement with his company.
Well, I'm so glad he's doing great. Here's the
He's
point,
doing okay.
Mama. You're doing worse than your son.
Well, I'm just trying to help him out and try to figure out what's best.
No, to help him, you help yourself. You are doing worse, financially speaking, given your age, than your son.
Okay.
And you have got to understand that. So your question to me is, ask me your question and I will give you a yes or no answer. Ask it.
The question is, should we co-sign a mortgage for my son to help him buy a condo or a house?
And the answer to that question is 100% no. All right, everybody, I have to do a Suze Sound Off here, truthfully. And the reason is this. I don't know. Did that last interview aggravate you as much as it aggravated me? Were you sitting there like I was saying, is this woman listening to Suze? Is this woman going to actually do what Suze is telling her? Now, I know. A lot of times maybe I tell you to do something. You don't like what I'm telling you, so you go and you do it anyway. When are you all going to get that you cannot save others unless you have saved yourself first? It is not okay that you are a 40-some-odd-year-old woman or man and that you don't have money for whatever reason in a retirement account, you don't have enough in savings, that you don't really know what you're going to do, but yet you're going to use whatever money you can to save your son because it's a good thing for your child. When are you going to get that it has to be a good thing for you first? You have got to come first. Otherwise, what happens if you project 20, 30, 40 years from now? It's your children. They're going to have to take care of you. It is your children that you are going to feel like, oh my God, I didn't want to ever grow up and be a burden on my children. Well, unless you put money away today for your tomorrows, unless you make decisions today that are good for you, regardless of what happens to your kids. The kid has a good job. The kid is working in a good industry. The kid is young. The kid has money in savings, has a good retirement plan. Oh, give me a break. Why can't he just do it himself? But no, mom has to come to the rescue. Mom, rescue yourself first. Can you all just get that? Coming up next on the Suze Orman Show, Wait, I already know where you're going with this. Want me to do a little ESP here? Want me to do a little Suze Psychic for you? You are still financially responsible for his homes, even though your name is no longer on the deed. How close did I come to that?
You are psychic.
Mm-hmm. And later, in wanting something, ask me, can I afford it?
I want to buy a pre-owned grand Busendorfer piano.
Oh, for $65,000, yeah?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. Patrice in Colorado, ask me your question.
Okay, here's my question. As part of my divorce agreement, my husband received 2 of our 3 homes. I have refinanced mine, and it's in my name, and I took my name off the deed of his 2 houses right away.
Wait, I already know where you're going with this. Want me to do a little ESP here? Want me to do a little Suze Psychic for you? But your ex-husband, even after you took your name off of the deed of his 2 homes, he did not take your name off of the loans because he did not refinance those loans. So you are still financially responsible for his homes, even though your name is no longer on the deed. How close did I come to that?
You are psychic.
Mm-hmm. Why in the world would you have taken your name off of the deed before he refinanced, and that's how your name would have come off the deed? Why?
Well, you know, post-divorce, there's a lot of conflict, and you just want to get it over with.
Yeah.
So now I want to be off those loans. And I know, even after he told me, he goes, you don't have to worry about it. Your name is changed. The divorce decree is enough to show that I'm not responsible for the 2 mortgages. And I know
he's wrong.
I know
wrong, which is why it's good you divorced him, because he was wrong, wrong. It was wrong from day one, but you probably knew that the second you were walking down the aisle, right? We won't go
we
there.
were married for 20 years.
I don't care. If you think back over 20 years ago, you know, you knew this before just now, right?
Right.
Thank you.
Okay,
right.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
It's a 4.78%, 15-year fixed rate loan.
Yeah.
And that's why he keeps insisting that he's not going to refinance.
Here's the thing. Given that interest rates are so low, he probably could refinance now at a 4 or close to 4, closer to 4 than 4.5% fixed for 15 years. How long has he had these homes?
Since 2004.
So was it so he only owes on them another 9 years, is that correct?
Right.
So he could refinance for 9 or 10 years, be in the exact same spot at a lower interest rate, maybe to entice him to do so. Maybe you want to say, hey, I'll pay the closing costs if you do this.
Yikes.
I know. All right, so there you go. Do you think that he...
Well, either way, I'll either have to hire an attorney and force him to do it so that I'll have the cost there, or I have a choice of helping him pay down.
Or you don't help him at all, and will he be responsible in your mind to paying what he owes?
So far, so good. But with this economy, you never know.
Here's the thing. If he's been good so far, I would just hopefully let him go like it is, unless you have the money to entice him to pay the closing costs for him to refinance, or unless you can show him that if he's going to keep these homes, he's far better off refinancing, being just in his name, and his payments will be lower overall. If you can show him that, then maybe. Other than that, what were you thinking? Laura, where are you calling me from tonight?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, girlfriend?
Thank you for taking my call. My daughter's been very excited and waiting every time the phone rings. Is it Susie?
Is Susie going to call you? All right, you're calling me. All right, girlfriend, tell me your question.
We're at a crossroad in our life right now, and we want to know if now's the time to make a move. My husband just lost his job, but we knew this was coming. We want to move back to Florida, where he's from, and we want to be near our families and start over there. We have equity in our home. We have an 8-month emergency fund and other investments. But we really want to sell our home now and take the plunge, and while our daughter is still very young. The worst part of the situation is being uncertain of what is right. How can we minimize the damage to our financial future and feel good about this decision?
Here's the thing. Haven't you heard me at the end of every show say people first, then money, then things? You have your money act together. Yeah, I know your husband lost his job, but okay, he lost his job, he's out of work, so that's out of the equation here because he's got to get a new job, whether it be in Massachusetts or Florida or wherever you happen to go. You have your 8-month emergency fund. Is it less expensive to live in Florida than Massachusetts? Is real estate less expensive, especially right now in Florida, than Massachusetts? Is your family in Florida versus Massachusetts? So if you ask me, what are you thinking? Of course it's right. It's right financially. It's right personally, and if you ask me, it's going to be right on every other level as well. I happen to love Florida, not that I don't like Massachusetts. I'm a Florida resident. Oh, go on and enjoy the sun. Let's go to Minnesota, the home of General Mills. Patricia, what can I do for you?
Hi, Susie. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Anytime.
My dad and I are big fans of your show.
Thank you.
My parents used a line of credit on their home to purchase a home for me because my credit won't allow me to qualify for a mortgage on my own. The loan is $210,000, and I've only started to rebuild my credit score in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
My parents have a lot of equity in their home, and they can afford to do this, but paying them back isn't helping me build my credit.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, how can I turn this around so that the payment I make helps my FICO score and my financial future?
All right, so first of all, how do you feel every month about, because you have an interesting situation. I started tonight's show talking about personal debt, mortgage debt. Which do you pay off first? You kind of have two in one. Two treats. You have personal debt that's also your mortgage debt. So every time you see your parents knowing that you owe them this money, does it affect you just out of curiosity?
Well, I'm very, very grateful to them.
Yeah.
And it does affect me. I mean, I do want to stand on my own 2 feet, and I do want to prove to my mom and dad and for my own self-esteem that, you know, I can handle my financial matters.
There you go. So here's my question. Are you in a situation right now, because what is the interest rate that you're currently paying your parents?
We just pay the interest rate that the bank charges, and on the statement that I have in front of me, it looks like it's 5.29%.
So at 5.29%, the truth of the matter is currently interest rates on mortgages are lower than that. You're not really getting the tax deduction, are you?
No.
All right, and because they're paying it, so it's kind of all screwed up that way. Would you, at this point in time now, be able to qualify for a mortgage?
I don't know that I would without a cosigner.
All right, and that doesn't mean that you can't have a cosigner. Because you could, I mean, they owe this money anyway. They took it out on their home. Why don't you try to refinance right now where you take out a loan that's in your name, your parents co-sign for you since they were giving you the money anyway, but then you get the tax write-off, you're making the payment, you're responsible to the bank. If God forbid something happens to you and you can't pay it, well, they have to step in, but they've already stepped in. Remember, normally I always say, parents, don't you ever co-sign for anybody. But in this case, they've already taken out a loan for you. Do you understand? So they're not in any worse situation at all. That way, you get to stand on your own 2 feet. You get to rebuild your credit. You get to feel responsible and get the tax write-off. And they just get to sit back and watch how their daughter has become a financially mature adult. Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
I want to get permanent makeup on my eyebrows.
You do? How come you just can't take an eyebrow pencil and go like I do? Bam, bam, bam. Also,
it's a sidecar motorcycle.
Let me just get this. You want a motorcycle and she doesn't want you to have one. Is that true? You want to buy something, do you?
A Jaguar XF.
Some Louis Vuitton dog collar.
Arizona Cardinals season
A
ticket.
new racing wheelchair.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Can I Afford It segment. This is where you call in, you tell me what it is that you want to buy. Oh, and I either approve or deny you. Are you ready? Here we go. Alex, what do you want to buy?
Hi, how are you, Susie? Thanks for having me on.
Alex, go for it, boyfriend.
All right, I'm interested in getting rhinoplasty, and I've wanted to do this pretty much since I was a teenager and just sort of haven't gotten around to it. But
And is this your nose? Is this your nose that I'm seeing?
that's right. That's my
your
nose.
little schnoz, huh?
It is a schnoz, yeah.
All right, you're, how old are you now?
I'm 32.
So you have been wanting to and make it perfect for a number of years, yes?
That's correct.
All right, my $7,000 nose friend, show me the money, and who knows what I'm going to say. Get it? That's kind of funny. Cracking myself up here. Okay, go on.
Great. Okay, I take home about $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
I have two mortgages totaling $396,000, one at 4.7 and the other at 5.8% interest.
Yeah.
I have $108,000 in savings,
Yeah.
and I have about $3,000 in my retirement account.
And you're 32 years of age. This is something you wanted to do for a long time. You make some good money, but you have a lot of expenses, boyfriend. You know, so guess what? You have been approved because you have more than enough in an emergency fund. This is something you've wanted to do for a long time. I don't know. I just think you should go ahead and do it. Sharon, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. We currently spend a total of $530 a month on personal trainers for me and my husband, and gymnastics and tennis lessons for our two daughters. I think we're doing pretty well financially, but I'm not sure if we can continue this.
Why don't you think you can continue it if you've already been able to do it?
Well, jobs are a little shaky and 401ks are down. I don't know if I can still afford it.
You got it, girlfriend. That's why you call in to the Can I Afford It segment on the Suze Orman Show. Show me the money.
Okay, my husband and I bring home a combined of $8,200 a month.
Yep.
We have two 30-year fixed mortgages. One's $112K at 6 1/4. One is $67K at 5 3/4.
Good, that's fine. Yep.
We have about $110,000 in savings and about $294 in retirement.
And is that everything?
Well, college funds are separate, but grandparents are taking care of that.
All right, so we don't have to worry about that. I just have to ask this question. Cars. Are you going to need any new cars? How many miles do you have on a car?
We've got two 10-year-old cars, pretty much.
So you have two 10-year-old cars that probably have about 150,000 miles on them each, because that's about what you have when cars are 10 years old, 50,000 miles a year. People, that's how I figured that out. And so chances are you're going to have to replace those cars. Your jobs are shaky. You have some money in savings, but you have been denied. And the reason that you are denied, my dear Sharon, is this: you are 48 years of age. You do not have enough money in savings and retirement for you to get by, especially when you get older here, especially if you lose your jobs now. So now is the time that you cut back to save even more in case you do lose your job, but you have been denied, as I said. Kirk, what do you want to buy?
It's a sidecar motorcycle.
Well, I know you know this, that I'm a softie for motorcycles. I love motorcycles. I even think they're so sexy with those sidecars. Who are you going to put in that sidecar with you?
Probably my daughter.
Your daughter? What about your wife?
Yeah, she's probably not going to be a big fan.
Oh, so let me just get this. You want a motorcycle and she doesn't want you to have one. Is that true?
Yeah, that's about right.
That's about right. But boyfriend, show me the money. Go on,
Okay.
rev it up for me. Kirk, rev it up for me.
Okay, we've got $100,000 in savings.
Yeah.
We, as in my wife and I.
Yeah.
We have no debt. We own everything. I own my house, everything.
Outright.
$108,000 in. Oh man, I messed it up, Susie. I'm sorry.
It's okay, honey. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Okay.
Pretend. Kick it into gear.
Okay. It's $10,000 a month is what we make, my wife and I.
Yeah.
We own our house outright.
Yeah.
We've got $108,000 in savings and only $15K in a 401k. $15,000 in a 401k.
And that's all you got, but you own your house outright. So a lot
That
of
is
your
correct.
money, rather than going into a 401k, you paid for that. You have no debt. You have everything taken care of for yourself. You have an educational account for your kid?
No, actually, we don't.
Oh, well, you don't. Then you're dead denied. You would have been, listen to me, you would have been approved if you had told me that besides all of this, you have an educational account for your children or your child as well. But you didn't say that. So you have got to put money in a kid's education account before you go riding down the street in a motorcycle where you're going to put her in the thing. Denied. You almost got me there, boyfriend. All right, Diana, what do you want to buy?
Okay, I want to get permanent makeup on my eyebrows.
You do? How come you just can't take an eyebrow pencil and go like I do? Bam, bam, bam.
Actually, I do it every morning, and it would really save me time.
All right, but
I'm a working mom.
But did you ever go and dye your eyelashes? Have you ever gotten enough little thing and you just paint it on there and then you wipe it off and blah, blah?
The thing is that I'm losing the hair in my eyebrows, so I can't really do it much, with the hair that I have.
And so you're just going to have it like a tattoo?
Sort of. I mean, it's kind of like a tattoo, but they use a different technique, so yes.
All right. Show me the money for $395. Every penny counts. Every lash counts.
Okay, I have a combined income of $9,800 a month.
That's great.
My mortgage is $473,000, a 30-year fix at 4.3%.
Yep.
My car loan is $1,300 and with a 10% interest.
Yep.
And I have $8,000 in my savings account right now.
You have been denied. And the reason that you are denied is, did you just hear what you said to me? You are making all this money per month and you have $8,000 in a savings account. God forbid something happens and you don't have a job anymore or you get sick or whatever it is. $8,000, that's not even going to last you 15 days. So are you kidding? No. You are going to do it however you can, but you are not going to spend one penny on that. Do you hear me? Marilyn, what do you want to buy?
I want to buy a pre-owned Grand Busendorfer piano.
Oh, for $65,000, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, 65. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. I just denied somebody who wanted to spend $395 on eyelashes, $500 a month on extracurricular activities, and you want to spend $65,000 on a piano. Play me a serious financial tune here, girlfriend.
Well, I am retired and I have a lifetime pension from the federal government. After taxes and medical insurance are paid, I bring home $44.50 a month.
Yeah.
And I own my home outright.
Yeah. What's it worth? How much is it worth?
It was just appraised when my husband died last year at $797,000.
Yep, great. Go on.
I have no debts, no credit cards, no car bills or anything. And I have $486,000 in savings and Treasury bonds, and then I've got $1 million in retirement.
So here's my question. 57 years of age, do you play this piano?
Yes, I do play the piano.
And how long have you wanted this piano?
For at least 25 or more years.
Well, guess what? You are going to get it. You have been approved. You have a fabulous financial foundation here. You are fully covered. Girlfriend, I'm so happy for you. Honest to God, go and get that piano. Yeah, and do you?
I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, sweetheart. And do you want to be part of the Can I Afford It segment? You just never know. You just never know what I am going to say, do you? Well, just go to my website, SuzeOrman.com. Type in right there that you want to come and play with me here, and I'll tell you if you can or cannot afford it. It's that simple. Up next, now this insurance agent wants him to do what? Cash out this whole life and do an annuity?
Yeah, he wants him to cash it out and put it into an annuity.
Oh, how did I know that? And later, why
well,
got it?
You want to know why? Because I'm going to show you what you and KT picked up for me. You guys picked up shirts for me.
Yes, we did.
I appreciated the lovely gesture.
I can't believe everybody. He doesn't like that color. He doesn't like that color.
What color is that?
Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. Let's go to Michigan. Nancy, you are on the air.
Hi, Susie. I have a couple questions. One is regarding an annuity. My father just got some advice from his insurance agent. He had a whole life insurance policy. He'd been paying on $300 a quarter.
Yeah.
And he's got about $25,000 in there now.
Okay, before we go on, let's just do the math here. As you all know, I seriously dislike whole life insurance policies, and let me show you why right now. Nancy, your father is how old right now?
75.
So he was 55 years of age. He did this about 20 years ago, correct?
Correct.
He did, at 55 years of age, he bought a whole life insurance policy that had a death benefit of how much?
$100,000.
All right, and he was paying at the age of 55, 20 years ago, $100 a month for a $100,000 life insurance policy. If he had taken that $100 a month and he just invested it every month in a savings account at 5%, we're not even talking about anything else, just 5%, he'd have approximately $41,000 or $42,000 today. All right, he has $25,000 today. Now, this insurance agent wants him to do what? Cash out this whole life and do an annuity? What does the insurance agent now want him to do with this $25,000?
Yeah, he wants him to cash it out and put it into an annuity.
Oh, how did I know that? If Daddy had simply 20 years ago purchased a term insurance policy, he could have had, in case he died within these 20 years, he could have had probably $500,000, $1 million of insurance for the same amount of money, or he could have probably had a little less insurance for so much less. It's usually, whole life is usually 10 times more than what a term insurance policy is per month, and then he could have invested the difference. He would have had, like I said, his insurance and almost $45,000 today, right around there, and then he could have taken that money and done whatever he wants with. Would I, at this point in time, cancel my whole life insurance policy? First, here's the question. Is Daddy healthy?
Yes.
And is anybody dependent on him? Like, if he died today, is that $100,000 necessary as a death benefit, or is it no longer needed?
It's no longer needed.
All right. Given that it's no longer needed, what I would be doing is making sure he's absolutely healthy, as I would be cashing it out, number one. But would I then be taking $25,000 and putting it in an annuity? Why is he doing that? What kind of an annuity is it?
You know, I tried to find that out. I'm not sure. I don't think it's a variable, but I'm not sure what kind it is.
If it were me, I'd be coming out of a whole life policy and going into a CD and forget these annuities altogether. That's what I would be doing if I were him. Up next, email.
I'm going to show you what you and KT picked up. You guys picked up shirts for me.
Yes, we did.
Wow. Man, that was shocking.
Yeah.
I have another one.
No, it's all right. Here he goes.
Look at this one. Look at this color. Look at this color.
Don't tell me you're taking that back, too.
Oh, it's going back.
Yep, here we go. T-shirt boy is coming on the set with me. But what are you doing?
Right.
Listen, last time you wore a jacket, right? I got, I don't know if you remember this. Last time you wore a jacket, we cut you off. We ran out of time. Then I get all these Twitters, all these Twitters saying, "Oh, must because Lou is in a jacket rather than a T-shirt." Why you got a jacket?
You want to know why? Because I'm going to show you what you and KT picked up for me. You guys picked up shirts for me.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. And I'm going to show
everybody.
everybody.
Ago, and don't tell me you're finally now getting around to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I want to show you what. I'm going to show everybody what they got.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know what color this is. This
Salmon.
is no color I've ever seen before. KT called it orange. It's not orange.
Look
Second of all,
hot.
What is this?
That's a V-neck to show.
I look like my Uncle Tony.
Yeah, but I
With the
wanted
hair
to
sticking
see
out.
if you had any hair on your chest.
Well, I do, and that's why this shirt will never be worn again. I left the tag on it, as a matter of fact. What's the tag?
You did.
Tag.
You did?
Tag will be. It'll be going back.
Are you taking it back, or are you going to let us take it back?
Look, I know I asked for you guys to buy me shirts, but I'm taking it back.
You are so embarrassed.
I'm taking it back.
That you're putting your jacket back
taking it
on.
back. You don't have to buy me shirts ever again. I'm taking it back. That was.
I have to tell you, you look so spring-like,
Yeah.
summer-like. Look, I'm in green, you're in whatever.
This is much better. Look at this.
Did you notice my little O on my shirt?
Much better. I did. The Oprah. I'd rather wear that.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Oh, you want me to take Wanda?
No, it's okay.
All right. The O stands for Oprah. I got it in Chicago rather than Orman, but anyway.
My shirt says a lot of things, too, but not what I wanted. All right, ready?
I cannot believe you put your jacket back on.
Terrible. I'm sorry. I appreciate it. It was a lovely gesture.
I can't believe everybody. He doesn't like that color. He doesn't like that color.
What color is that? There's no
salmon.
There's no Crayola doesn't make a crayon. This color.
All right, there you go. Fine. But look,
Doesn't
you got
exist.
little hair here.
Yeah. That's why you don't see. You see the collars come up here.
Okay, no problem. There you go. All right.
I'll bring my microphone to it.
There you go. All right.
All right. Here we go. Wow.
Wow.
Man, that was shocking.
Yeah.
I have another one. Where's my other
No,
one?
it's all right. Enough. Here he goes.
Look at this one. Look at this color. Look at this color.
Don't tell me you're taking that back too.
Oh, it's going back. But, at least it's not a V-neck. All right. Sorry.
I don't know. I think I have really good taste. But what can I tell you? KT picked it out. All right. Go on.
I'm only blaming it on KT. Good. All right. From John, 44, in Waltham, Massachusetts. I'm trying to figure out how I pay for my son's college tuition. Do I take out loans? My son thinks money grows on trees. What do you suggest?
Oh, we always end the Suze Orman Show just like we began, don't we? Do you remember Carrie when I first began this show tonight? Carrie wanted to buy a home for her son that's going to college to save money on rent. Now we have a man who wants to do what? Take out loans for his son's college education? Listen, it all depends. Do you have your own retirement account? Do you have your 8-month emergency fund? Are your student loans paid off? Is your house paid for? Is everything great no matter what happens? If all of that is true and you want to help your children, okay, you should be taking out a plus loan. You should not be taking a loan from your 401k. You should not be taking a loan as a home equity line of credit from a home that you may have. The only loans that you should take out for your children, if you are going to take out a loan, is a plus loan. However, with that said, before you take out a plus loan, your children should be checking to see, do they qualify for a Stafford loan? Can they get a subsidized, unsubsidized? What can they get? Because that's at a 6.8% interest rate. Plus loans will be at an 8.5% interest rates. So do it according to interest rates, even if it's your kid taking it out. That's what you do. But, why do I have this gut feeling that he can't afford it either? But he's just making sure that his kid is okay. Why do I have that feeling?
That's what parents do.
Makes me choke with my throat. All right.
I want everybody to send their wardrobe comments to twitter.com/LouSuze email. Because there's going to be comments.
Yeah, well, you can send them to me,
and
too.
You can send them to Suze Orman Show as well.
Yeah, at Twitter. So let us know, everybody. Yeah. Did you like those colors on Lou, or did you not? Yellow or salmon? Are they a little feminine for you?
Yeah, sure. That's one word I'd use.
Maybe that's why you didn't like them.
That's a word I'd use.
I find no problem. And here's another word we'd use. Everybody. This brings us to the end of the Suze Orman Show. Please join us next Saturday night. Remember to Twitter us. Remember to watch us wherever you can. We are now on iTunes. There are also podcasts there for you. However, until next week, there's only one thing that I want you to remember when it comes to your money, and it is this. People first, then money, then things. Now you stay safe. Bye-bye.